Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Monica Bachchan. I'm a founder of Metalogic Projects Management Services, and it is a maximum women staff organization. Today on 5th of November 2020, we are presenting you webinar on modern material flow for metal industries. This webinar is presented by PESMEL. This is our 20th webinar during COVID-19 pandemic. Just a short housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the panel discussion, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. I'll bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have time for questions at the end. Always mention your company name and organization which you are representing, and who would you like to address your question to. Introduce PESMEL to you all. PESMEL is a prominent supplier of highly automated internal logistics storing, ASRS, and packaging system for the global pulp and paper, metals, and automobile tire industries. PESMEL designs logistics solution that boost the plant's overall efficiency and delivers comprehensive systems complete with dedicated control systems. The material flow and logistics knowledge have made PESMEL a global leader in the business segment it serves. It has an extensive number of references occurred over the 40+ years of operation. Our expert panels are Mr. Juha Suksi, Vice President, PESMEL Corporation, Mr. Samu Katkanaho, Sales Manager at PESMEL Corporation, Mr. Tuomas, Vuorenmaa, Manager ICT Engineering, PESMEL Corporation, and Mr. Rajagopalan, Jagannathan, Managing Director of PESMEL India. I'm your moderator, Monica Bachchan. To begin with, I would like to start with Mr. Juha Suksi to please open the session, and before that, a little introduction about him. Mr. Juha holds a master's degree in mechanical engineering with over 20 years working history in PESMEL. During his career, he has been involved in various tasks in project management, sales, and marketing. His experience in projects combined with technical background has given him a strong basis for creating good customer relationship. Having created good customer relations during his project management career, Mr. Suksi joined the sales team in 2006, where he has promoted PESMEL material flow concept widely, especially for growing Asian market. Since 2011, Mr. Suksi has worked as Vice President of Metal Industry. I welcome you, Mr. Suksi. And now I request you to please unmute your mic. And I believe you have a presentation, so I'm making you a presenter.
Thank you, Monica.
Over to you. Your presentation is visible to us.
Thank you, Monica. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Modern Material Flow webinar for metal industry. There is a great unrealized potential to increase efficiency in logistics. Traditional methods of storing, loading, and transportation are not sufficiently meeting the needs of today's business. By investments in automation, the situation can be improved. What have we learned about logistics? We can see from this image, all the way from plant to port side, that in-plant logistic and finished goods shipping functions influence the whole logistics chain. Trucks and trains transportation times are often less than 50% of the total time. Turnaround and waiting times are excessive. There is potential to reduce turnaround time more than 50% in plant logistics and port by equipment automation and Industry 4.0. There is also potential to reduce time on roads and rails by investments in infrastructure and Industry 4.0. In the mill itself, integration challenge easily leads to high work in process production. We can see from production planning image on the left side that there is always waiting times between the processes. Typically, process times are only 5 to 10% of the total lead time. We can shorten the lead times by better integration between the processes as shown in the right side image. So what can be done? There are many things that can be done, but we like to highlight the following things. We can have in-depth feasibility study, automation of in-plant logistics and shipping functions, Industry 4.0 system integration and networking. During the feasibility study, we can prepare actual 3D simulation model of production and material flows with real and planned production data, and we can optimize logistics, buffering, and safety functions. Find the bottlenecks of production, model exceptional situations, for example, if some equipment are on maintenance, and consider the future plans. Simulation will get validation before implementation by comparison of different solutions. It will give better overview and understanding of the processes and logistics. And we can optimize and reduce number of equipment. The key is the coordinated material and information flow throughout the entire plant. It is beneficial that the internal logistic devices are seamlessly connected to process equipment. If we compare traditional and high-bay storing method efficiency, high-bay storage need only 15 to 20% of floor storage footprint with 1 or 2 stacker cranes. But floor storage may need many over cranes. High-bay storage has easy, precise access to all the products, which may not be the case with the floor storage. Industry 4.0 and digitalization give better control and understanding of every operations and utilize real-time data to increase productivity and improve controlling of the processes and change management. Industry 4.0 can be utilized for proactive maintenance to identify potential problems before they become major problems and give instructions what can be done to prevent them. JPS systems produce forecast of arrival times and logistic-related optimization of opportunities. For example, route optimization and location information. One high-bay storage unit can serve all buffering, sorting, and shipping functions. Storage allocation is fully adjustable between HR coils, which can be automatically unloaded and fed to the storage, coils feeding to production lines and back to the storage, WAP coils feeding to the packing and back to storage, and finished good coils automatic loading. Same principles can be used also for wire rod coils and blades and sheets. The warehouse management system is the heart of the automated distribution center, and it enables full control of all material flows inside the mill, real-time inventory, traceability, distribution, and shipping functions. And WMS is integrated to the mill information system. As we have been working for metal industry decades with many customers, port-running corporations are reporting significant improvements by automation in mill logistics and shipping functions, like increased sales, reduction in production cost, and capital tied to products, as well as savings and error-free deliveries. As a summary, and referring to the pictures shown below, there is great potential to increase efficiency along with enhance profitability in logistics by well-planned and focused investments in logistic automation. My colleagues, Mr. Samu, Mr. Tuomas, and Mr. Rai, will continue and walk through the rest of the presentations. And before that, Monica, please show the material flow-how video. Thank you for your attention.
PESMEL is a global leader with extensive knowledge of metal industry processes. Our core competence lies in highly automated internal logistic packing and storing systems. We design and implement the best logistic solutions in a manner that improves the productivity and efficiency of the entire mill. PESMEL is the master of material flows. At the core of everything we do is our unique material flow-how concept. It integrates all the production processes into an automatically functioning logistical whole. The system can be applied either to greenfield or to existing premises. The material flow-how concept is the optimal logistics system that enables production capacity to be maximized. First, our specialists familiarize themselves with mill processes and systems. A simulation model is then built based on this information. Through simulation, Bottlenecks in production and other potential problems are analysed. Based on the analysis, a tailor-made optimal system simulation model is then built. All this is done in close cooperation with the customer. Mill processes that can be defined through simulation include product transfers between the processes, intermediate storage, product packing, storing and dispatching of the finished product, many other issues related to techniques and productivity. PESMEL takes full care of project implementation as the simulation guides all the different phases. One strong area of expertise is our in-house engineering, mechanical, electrical, PLC, and ICT. We build our machines by ourselves. Our engineering and manufacturing meet the highest international and local quality standards and criteria. The project delivery includes full equipment and system installation, testing and startup. The customer's operators are trained for independent operation, and additional training is available for the whole system life cycle. Our deliveries also include complete documentation. An advanced control system manages the material and information flows. This makes heavy, manpower-oriented tasks things of the past. System operation is easy and user-friendly. The system lifecycle is managed by means of the FlowCare application. It provides current information about system performance, the condition of the equipment and need for maintenance. This helps the operators react fast and in the proper way. FlowCare offers flexible connection to PESMEL's maintenance and spare parts service. PESMEL is your partner in the metal industry. We manage the mill's material flows as well as their optimal integration. Better quality, perfect deliveries, product traceability. Efficiency, reliability and operational safety, but minimized life cycle costs. PESMEL Material Flow-How.
Thank you so much, Mr. Juha. Moving on to our next panelist, we have Mr. Samu Katkanaho, Sales Manager, PESMEL Corporation. A little about Mr. Samu. Just give me a moment, please. Mr. Samu holds a master's degree in economics and business administration. He has extensive experience in global industrial marketing and sales, as well as strategy and business development. In PESMEL, Mr. Katkanaho works as sales manager with responsibility for automated storage and retrieval systems, plant logistics, and packing lines for the metal industries. With his know-how, enthusiasm, and customer-centric approach, he has successfully promoted PESMEL's material flow-how concept with focus on the Indian and US market. I welcome you, Mr. Samu. And I request you to please unmute your mic. So now you will be able to share your screen with us.
So Thank you, Monica, for your kind words and this great opportunity to be able to speak here. So, namaskar. Objective of modern automation and logistics system is to boost plant efficiency by removing the bottlenecks, avoid manual operations, and thus minimize the damages, errors, and accidents. Objective is also to save on buildings, overhead cranes, and manpower costs, but at the same time ensure max throughput with quality. What are then the building blocks for modern mill logistics? ESRS, including the storage racking and stacker cranes, different type of coil car systems, including two-way and four-way cars, moving skids, also lifting or lowering coil stands to take care of the level differences, upbenders, etc., as per case requirement. One important aspect is interfaces to the production lines. Modern mill logistics includes full automation of whole mill logistics. We can feed coils automatically, for example, to PLTCM, then pick up those coils from PLTCM exit and move to the work in progress ASRS, then by request and sequence to different production lines, for example, CCL lines, CGL lines, or CAL lines. Then from production lines, direct pickup and delivery to WIP ASRS or recoiling lines or to automatic packing line. Then finally to the finished goods ASRS, and after that to dispatch area as per dispatch schedule. And the whole system is controlled by WMS and gives you the full control and full transparency of material and information flows. As you can see in the image far right, how high bay storage looks in WMS control point of view. High-speed coil cars complementing the EOT cranes for faster transportation, distribution, and automatic feeding. Coil cars shifts coils automatically by the production plan and program and are able to handle coils up to 50 tons capacity. Special plastic pads to ensure gentle handling of the coils, so no damages. Also, coil cars with turning saddles or waiting saddles are available, depending on the customer need. High-speed cars are also available to ensure higher throughput capacity if required. Coil cars supplements and complements the EOT cranes and the stacker cranes with the common YMS and WMS. They can operate in crane shadow, so it does not use valuable floor space that much. As said, coil cars can load coils to the in-feed point of the process lines and pick up coils from the out-feed points of the process lines directly without depending on the EOT cranes. So, stacker crane is digitalized vertical crane moving inside the high bay storage racking. It is a computer able to identify and track the coils automatically in high speed with more throughput per hour. And it can work up to 34 meters high. So rack-supported buildings consist of complete racking systems that provides the basic structural support for the building's roofs and walls. Method of building reduces construction costs, lead times, and minimizes the building footprint. Compact clad rack building is the most economic storage solution when a new building is required. and customer doesn't need to build any new building. However, ASRS can be also built inside the existing building, of course, taking building dimensions into account. Thus, typical standalone structure has less storage location compared to the ASRS in rack-supported building. So if we compare this typical ASRS and compared to this traditional floor storage system, so only 15 to 20% of the footprint is used compared to this traditional floor storage system, as also Mr. Juha mentioned. Only 15% of the power costs and 26% of the operational costs. And no human influence on the process, which gives also the safety aspect. Enables high throughput capacity and easy tracking and full transparency. So your mill can provide fast and error-free deliveries. Some words about the overhead crane integration with automation. I will tell you the PESMEL overhead crane YMS evolution path. It's like a staircase to automation. So in stage 1, WMS guided cranes. So all cranes are manual and no PLCs is required. YMS gives the visual guidance and tasking via HMI to operators. In stage 2, WMS controlled cranes, long travel and cross travel movements are automatic, and hoist movement is manual and controlled by the operator. And YMS gives the guidance and tasking, and the cranes needs the PLC. And in stage 3, fully YMS controlled cranes are fully automatic. So all movements like long travel, cross travel, and hoist are fully automatic, and no operators required. Customer has also this flexibility to expand in modules and phases. So as said, this is like a staircase to full automation. As you can see, there are a lot of benefits of modern logistics. Increased efficiency, higher throughput, improved quality, faster material turnover, shorter delivery times and cycle times. You get rid of bottlenecks. Error-free, in-time prompt deliveries, which also increase your customer satisfaction. Safe environment for the products and for the operators. And flexibility to expand in modules and phases. And PESMEL can help you to create the clear roadmap towards the full automation. Now I will ask Monica to present you the typical video of modern logistics. And as you will see on the video, no manpower is required. So Monica, kindly share the video.
Sure.
So here you can see the HR coils are unloaded from the rake. differently. And then there is a OA coil car along the PSRS racking, and the OA coil car delivers the coils inside the PSRS with the integrated storage keeping location. Here you can see that the tracker crane will pick up the coil in feed and electric, and it delivers the coils to the designated storage location. And as you can see, this is like a bookshelf. And then when outfeeding, tracker crane pick up the coils, deliver it to the exit point or outfeed point of the PSRS. Here we have the moving level, so the overhead crane can pick up the coil directly there at the place of the big car. This is also that we also have that controlled by our YMS. So thank you for your attention. And now I will giving back stage back to Monica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samu. Now we are moving on to our next panelist. We have Mr. Tuomas, Vuorenmaa, Manager ICT Engineering, PESMEL Corporation. About Mr. Tuomas, he is a bachelor degree in engineering. He has been working for PESMEL in various demanding ICT projects since 2013, most recently as a head of ICT department. Earlier, Mr. Vuorenmaa has worked as an application specialist in demanding warehouse management system and packing line projects, as well as the IoT product development area. In his current position as department manager, he holds the responsibility of leading the ICT team, developing the ICT functions of the company, and taking care of customer projects, inclusive of sales support. Over to you, Mr. Tuomas. I welcome you. Please unmute your mic.
Thank you, Monica.
I'm making you a presenter, so now you can share your screen.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My topic for today's webinar is warehouse management system, part of the metal plant. As Mr. Juha and Samu presented earlier, material flow in a modern steel plant can be quite complex. Mills produce coils that need to be stored until further processing. Coils may need to be processed multiple times, and after each processing, they need to be stored again. And coils need to be packaged before dispatching, and again, they need to be stored in a buffer before dispatching. The dispatching can be done, for example, via road or rail, using trucks and trains. High bay storage, together with modern logistics, can function as a distribution center, thus simplifying the material flow. The heart of the distribution center is WMS, which controls all the physical devices like stacker cranes, coil cars, coil lifters, conveyors, etc. And it's also responsible of the information flow. WMS makes all the devices work together seamlessly, utilizing all the information available, enabling the intelligent material flow. WMS responsibility starts from the very beginning of the process when receiving the production. WMS starts to track all the products as they enter the interface zone. Products are identified and measured, and this real-world information is then compared to the data provided by the mill system. WMS chooses the route for the product in order to get it to the correct storage location destination. This means also choosing what devices need to move the product and when. Pre-sorting and grouping can be done based on rules, for example, cooling time or the coil's next destination. WMS is responsible for the storage, optimizing and keeping it well organized in every case. There can be many, many systems making work orders to WMS. For example, production lines, they need coils, and coils need to be dispatched. WMS need to validate and prioritize all these work orders. Of course, WMS need to locate the products for each order, create suitable loading plans, and finally deliver them to right place at right time. The work starts usually before the actual loading or dispatching. Coil needs to be prepared near the loading area to ensure fast loading times. WMS can also control different types of loading devices like coil cars, overhead cranes, and forklifts. Finally, waybills are sent to mill systems and printed if necessary. A metal plant may have many systems provided by many suppliers. There can be ERP system, mill execution system, multiple production lines, a separate system for dispatch planning, and so on. Information needs to flow in order to achieve fluent and flexible material flow. WMS is there in the middle, is there to help getting the material and information where needed. Since WMS need to communicate with many different systems, various interface types are supported. For example, REST APIs, queuing systems, database links, file sharing, and TCP sockets, to name a few. WMS is working as an extension of production and dispatch planning, making sure the plan is executed correctly in the physical world. WMS integration brings flexibility for sorting and preparation and the ability to react to changes. Production plan, for example, can change, so WMS need to prepare another set of products. Trucks or trains may break or they are cancelled, so the prepared products may need to be taken back to storage and new products to be prepared to the loading area. WMS tracks every single movement of each product, all the way from the takeover point to the dispatch vehicle. And all movements and events can be traced in history step by step. Sometimes it's also necessary to see production and dispatch orders and if changes have been made to them over time. Also, all user actions are logged, and all this is because we want to provide full transparency and give best understanding of the whole system. Tracking information can be also shared to other mill systems if necessary. Mill execution systems or ERP systems may need to know where each coil or product is located for planning the next processing. WMS and automation can minimize the human influence for the process. And human influence can be minimized even with manually operated devices by giving guidance to the operator, like tasks, navigation, warnings about forbidden areas, etc. These devices include overhead cranes and forklifts, as an example. High bay storage and logistics can be supplemented with additional floor storage. WMS can be extended with YMS functionalities. This extension includes all necessary user interfaces and device control functionalities for overhead cranes or forklifts. Mr. Samu mentioned about YMS overhead crane evolution path, and that is supported with only minor changes to the WMS when moving towards more automated levels of overhead cranes. WMS collects statistics and other data of the system. All the important data is available for all levels in the organization, from operators to the top management. And all data can be used in reports, and reports can be exported into file for later purposes. WMS central position allows it to give wide and transparent view into the plant overall process. It's a tool which can be used in the plant development. The data can also be integrated into different BI systems. To sum things up, complex process of metal plant can be simplified with high bay storage and WMS. In Mr. Juha's presentation, there was a sample case where single high bay storage was used for VIP coils, finished goods coils, packaged coils, and as a dispatch buffer. And the whole system was controlled by WMS. WMS can and should be integrated into all mill systems, and many types of interfaces are supported. WMS is a platform which can be extended based on the customer needs. For example, yard management system and floor storage functionalities. WMS provides full, transparent view to the plant's material flow process. Thank you. And Monica, I think you continue from here. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. Moving on to our next panelist, we have Mr. Jagannathan Rajagopalan. He's a managing director at PESMEL India. A little introduction about him. Mr. Rajagopalan holds a master degree in mechanical engineering with specialization on project and commissioning management. He has 20 years of experience as a senior engineer at Bhilai and Salem Steel Plant of SAIL. Mr. Rajagopalan has resided in the USA since 1996 as Vice President of Sales. He has been exposed to international marketing and sales with respect to process and finishing lines. Upon joining PESMEL, he has been responsible for marketing and sales in India and the USA, having established the customer base, particularly in the metal sector. Mr. Rajagopalan was instrumental in commencing PESMEL Indian operation in 2007 to address the project and after-sales service. Mr. Rajagopalan has over a decade history in PESMEL and is currently Managing Director of PESMEL South Asia. Over to you, Mr. Jagannathan Rajagopalan, and I request you to please unmute your mic. And I welcome you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for the big words. Good afternoon, respected friends, respected metal sector colleagues. My colleagues have briefed you on the logistics for material handling, and they have almost brought the material to the threshold of exit threshold of the plant. Now the material is better ready to leave, but before that it cannot leave like that. It has to be protected before it is being shipped. So let us see what all the options we have. I have no doubt that all of you, as quality manufacturers of material, especially metal material, especially let it be steel or aluminum or brass or bronze, let it be coil, let it be sheet, let it be slit coils, let it be long products, let it be tubes, let it be plates. All of us would prefer and will have the target that we should reach our product at the same condition, ditto, as it is manufactured. For example, the way it was in the recoiler of the recoiling line or in the galvanizing line, without any change. So how is it possible? Because the material has to go through various transportation hurdles and also the multiple handlings. So what is needed here is obviously a perfect packing and also efficient packing. Let us see what are the components of packing and also what are the objectives for that. Most important thing in packing system is not the initial cost. The fundamental thing in packing system, the packing is a different kettle of fish compared to the process lines and others. In packing line, the operating cost is the predominant factor. So the operating cost could be monitored and controlled by selecting a proper packing system with automation and with lot of features. Plus, the packing system, what we should think of for perfection as well as for efficiency, it should have more throughput. And for example, a manual packing can have 5 to 7, or a semi-automatic can have 10 to 12, whereas an automatic packing line could have 20 even plus, depending upon the coil size as well as the packing philosophy. The quality of packing, of course, is very important, and also the automation with least manpower in any situation is always welcome, because fundamentally we don't want to save manpower for the purpose of manpower saving, but mainly to ensure error-free packing and also the safe packing with quality. The latest development now is just-in-time preparation of packing material to the correct dimension, exactly tailored to the particular coil by taking the data from the PLC then and there, so that you don't waste an iota of material than required. There is no point in packing a coil like an Egyptian mummy. It is not necessary. You need to pack for the protection. And we have to standardize that depending upon the matrix. So Industry 4 today is a blessing in disguise for all of us, because anybody can monitor the equipment from anywhere and also maintain the equipment and also even operate the equipment. There are cases where for a particular customer where he had to evacuate the total inventory on the March 31st. We did help and in a programmed way and saw to that the whole ASRS was emptied by 31st night. So such things are possible because of IoT and Industry 4. I already told you about programmed packing matrix. What it means is the matrix, every customer has got his own matrices depending upon the material composition, the material significance and end use. Maybe it is going for even tin product may go for food product. There are some items which may go for medical application. So depending upon the end use, the matrix can be different, and also depending upon the distance to travel, the way it is traveling, all that counts, because the trucks are the most troublemakers for the coil. If it is not packed, it could make dents to the tune of even 8 or 10 lakhs, which is real money. So the best efficiency, of course, it is mandatory. And most importantly, affordable phase-wise implementation is important. All cannot afford a totally automatic packing line. And as my colleague said, Samu repeatedly said about staircase, naturally, even in the packing line, we could configure a convenient staircase so that from a manual packing line with all provisions for an upgrade to semi-automatic packing line, and then further upgrade to an integrated in situ packing item manufacturing automatic packing line. So this doesn't stop only with coils. We can have automatic packing system for slit coils, sheet packs, wire rod coils, and long products. And not only for steel, it could be for stainless steel, it could be for aluminum, it could be for brass, it could be for bronze. In fact, aluminum, brass, and bronze are more value-added product, and they need more care and protection, just like children. Let us go a little more in depth. So I was telling about life cycle costs. So you'll be surprised. One of our prominent steel plants in India, when they were witnessing our automatic packing line reference, they were asking us, could you provide me a total ownership cost for a period of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years for your automatic packing line? Friends, you won't believe it. The simple manual packing line, which we are tempted to go for cheap price, that is the costliest line. It is about 2 times or 3 times costlier in 5 years, about 7 times costlier in 10 years, about 8 or 9 times costlier in 15 years. And believe it, it is 10 or 12 times costlier in 20 years. So what will you choose? So that way, the whole philosophy is in packing lines, choosing an automatic line or a good line. If you don't want to choose it all along to the total automation, but still have it in your mind that I will have this automatic line in future, but I will buy a line in such a way it has the provision for automating step by step, because nobody knows how the world will be today, tomorrow, day after. We don't know. So it is better to be prepared if things go by itself. So fit it and forget it, like that. It is blessing in disguise, and that is, we are very lucky to be born in this situation where it is all possible. The one more point I need to emphasize in this slide is the merit of automatic packing line is it avoids manpower, multi-site packing, because packing in multi-sites, people think it is cheaper, but it is actually a lot of waste of material and non-standard packing. And also manual packing, avoided excessive packing. It is one thing which we do because of most of the material packing contracts. Always you pack more than necessary, and packing over packing and packing over packing, but it's all not that. See what things you have. The frightening factors for the coils are, one is moisture, the other one is oxygen, the third one is contaminant, the fourth one is mechanical damage. So each one has got a protection, and there is a method to protect. More than this, you don't need to do anything excess, and everything is scientific. It is not the kind of whims and fancy, or it is not a question of emotional packing that my coil is very safe. Not that. There is a scientific way of packing. That's what we do. That's what we program. Of course, IoT, I already emphasized on that. So I'm sure there are some commercial friends. So normally, the equipment has to be chosen by value, not by price. The initial price is not the price. It is a very deceiving item, because it is something like a small needle hole. But you see, actually, ultimately, the operation cost every year will be so high. So you see an example here, that total cost of ownership, where the operating cost of a manual line surpasses, or a semi-automatic line even surpasses, the unit cost of the equipment, which would have been an automatic line, within 1 or 2 years. And that could ensure you a faster ROI. So that way, please understand, you need to always consider the value of any equipment you buy, not on the initial cost. And value always gives you back and avoids you paying every day more money. This slide looks so simple, but it is not as simple as that. See, the good packing is by 100% area coverage and also 100% adhesion. So many packing are done with 100% or 80% area coverage, but never they are done with 100% adhesion, which is very important, because even if you are using costly VCI material, if you don't have 100% adhesion, the packing is only simply cladding. It is not packing. So wrapping is not packing. Wrapping tightly is the packing. So how can you do wrapping tightly? Because you have to do, because see, the process of wrapping is climbing up and climbing down. When climbing up, the material is tight. Climbing down, the material becomes slack. So to monitor that, you need to have a system, servo system, so that it compensates for the slackness and makes it tight. There are cases I went as an AIST committee member to inspect the coils in the port, and we found that the coil is well packed, and the supplier was telling I packed very well. But when you put our fingers, there is so much gap in that packing. So naturally, the VCI has no purpose. It escapes. And also the white rust were there plenty. So the airtight packing we explained, and what is the advantage. But one question, if you could have an airtight packing, then why do you want to have VCI? Why do we have a vapor corrosion inhibitor or a volatile corrosion inhibitor? See, volatile means it evaporates immediately, so that the chemical evaporates, so that it protects, it avoids, it drives away the oxygen, it drives away the moisture in the gap, so that the coil is protected. But if it is tight, there is no job for you, VCI. You could as well pack with a crepe paper, which is 3 times cheaper. And we have experiments, and customers have accepted. In CSC in Vietnam, we have done experiments, we have done even aging experience, and we have found that it is as good as VCI. And VCI is more psychological. Nevertheless, only for one application, especially in auto body application, for certain particular components, we need VCI, which is mandatory. Otherwise, 90% of the application, crepe paper and stretch film should be able to serve the purpose. This is really a good thing, and we have actually experiments done and also results. Here you see how the packing, good packing and bad packing. It is not that bad packing, it is only loose packing. So that way you could see how the rusts are formed, but both the coils are packed, and you could see how the coils look. One more aspect is many times the customers find it, your customers find it difficult to remove the packing. So you do such a packing that it takes more time than the packing time. It should not be like that. See, now they're all with a static electricity. When you wrap, there is a static electricity developed. If you wrap with a proper way, then with an automatic packing system, when he removes it, it removes it sometimes even with a noise, but it comes in no time. And also today, you know, friends, the packing material suppliers also collect the material, because today the packing materials, most of them are recyclable. So the supplier is tempted to take it back, and if it can come back to him, he can also be benefited, and also the customers are also benefited. Another aspect, important fact, is in situ preparation of material. So we did discuss about it. The in situ preparation is nothing but we don't keep a big inventory of packed material, because always the raw material is far cheaper, and preparing it at site as required is also cheaper, and also the quantity is also controlled and monitored. Another aspect of automatic packing is flexibility to use standard material. There are cases where they specify the spool in such a way it is 2 3/4 inch, and all the spools are 3 inches, and some machines are given with 2 3/4, so that you have to go only with that supplier for the material. So all these are not correct. There should not be any monopoly. There has to be flexibility to the customer, because the customer believes, and he should have the flexibility to choose the material to save the money. These are another very kind of LKG, UKG stuff, where just to show how an automatic programmable packing can save the material. For example, when you naturally keep an inventory, you can't exactly size it to the coil. There can be a 30 or 40% or 50% even overlaps I've seen. Whereas we could do it as 5% or 8% overlap. More than that, it is not required, because making layer by layer has got no advantage unless it is correctly made. Now I come to the phase-wise implementation. Now this is a manual packing line where you see only this system, that is the wrapping system, is automatic, and all the other paraphernalias can be partly manual and partly semi-automatic. If you go further, the same thing could be automatic in many cases except one station. So in the previous one, there may be 7 operators. Here, there may be 3 operators. Okay, why operators are required? Mainly because of flowering, and especially with regard to sometimes HDP material, you have to flower. So that way you need some people. But even that has been developed as with automation now. And then comes, this is an integrated automatic robotic packing line. It looks so complicated, but you will find it very simple when you see the video. But as such, here you have an advantage that packing lines, the incoming coil and outgoing coils are taken out. There is no load on the crane. And also, friends, if you plan properly in a greenfield project, you could as well make the packing line as a transportation media, and the packing line can take it from the process line exit to the shipping bay by the line itself, which has been done in one of the plants in Chicago. And they were asking actually how to save this double handling, triple handling, because lesser the handling, better the coil is. The coil should be handled minimum before packing. And after packing, it is maybe okay, but that way, this packing line itself gives this volunteer service if it is configured properly. And that's the reason Mr. Juha, as well as others, emphasized on the importance of simulation, because simulation is one which gives you an opportunity to see what you want to buy without spending a pie. So that is the advantage of simulation, which you should definitely ask for any suppliers. Let it be even process lines. The simulation gives you a lot of avoidance of bottlenecks, and also see the practical situation. And also this micro planning is done by simulation, so that we generally do planning, but you should always do micro planning in the project, and that is possible with simulation. To summarize, I need not summarize again because I told invariably all the points, but the key point is the saving of the resources is possible in packing line. So the return on investment is possible and faster. And of course, total protection is there. And also the flexibility, avoiding dependence on UOT cranes, and also transporting the coils across the bay, as I told you. And the most important thing is the fastest ROI, and automatic digitalized packing lines are available for all the other products also. So friends, this is message for the day. Please remember, in technology advancement, never run the relay run by others already. So today we are not washing clothes mostly by hand. Today we don't wash utensils by hand. And there are everything we adopt the modern technology. Why not on packing? The packing is a monotonous job. People are unnecessarily being tortured. And it is better to definitely utilize this automation, having known today that automation is the cheapest option if you consider the life cycle cost saving. Automatic packing line is the most affordable, friendly, proven, and economical packing line if you consider the total cost of ownership, assuring total quality, total safety with enhanced productivity, and most importantly with the IoT. I request Monica to kindly play a small video, and that could make it clear, because seeing is believing.
Sure.
Friends, what you see here is just like in your gate main security. This is the security robo. It doesn't allow a coil if the coil ID is not okay, because there can be some mandrel kinks, because depending upon the line, and it checks that the ID is clear for the shuttle to go through. And there are actually 7 or 8 robos in this line, and some are 6 axis, some are 7 axis. And robos are so gentle they touch the coil like consider it as if it is a child, and it doesn't damage, it doesn't hurt the coil, and it embraces it. Every item which puts it very gracefully. This is an automatic through the eye wrapping system with servo motor, and you could see how that here you see the crepe paper and such film being wrapped, and the program is done in such a way the paper being having more density, it gets over exactly when the coil is over, the spool is over, and then another spool goes up, so that not even a little of paper is wasted. Normally, in many cases, you could see half spool is wasted or 3/4 spool is wasted. So these spools are also being recycled and then put as a fresh spool by the supplier. Now you see there is a double sealing by infrared sealing, and you could see many times in the trucks you see some coils with the open package that you could never see in this type of system. And you could also see in there the OD edge protector is also put simultaneously. This is where the body wrapping is being planned, and unlike the conventional system where the multiple body wrapping material coils are kept, here we keep only 2 coils, and because instead of cutting on the length, we cut it on the width, so that for any coil size we could cut it according to the width, and that way we just join them with a transparent glue. There is no big issue because it is only meant for mechanical protection. And here you see the protect material type materials being put first, and always this material is normally put little less than the width because there is going to be an edge protector, so you should not waste material. So if you save about 40 mm on each side, it's also saving. And then you put the metal over this, and you see how tight it is, and then comes the 7-axis robo where you put the side disc, or this could be also metal depending upon the packing philosophy and need. This is an ID disc, ID protector being made in situ, and this is normally HR material, and mainly because it should withstand the C-hook or the tong, especially always in a coil. The telescopicity is either in the beginning or in the end because of the centering device doesn't operate very well when the speed of the line is less. So that way the edge protector is normally with a thicker material for the ID. This robo fixes it with such a precision that it has to be made with precision, the edge protector, as well as it has to be fixed with precision. So there is our supervisor possibly at the testing time, and this is actually we're inserting the ID spool automatically, and the side disc is being fitted perfectly. And the robos work synchronously as a team without taking any time off. Here you could see in situ OD edge protector being fixed, and also there is a device to ensure that the OD edge protector is not loose, it is tightly adhering to the coil. The conical device is meant for that. That way it is also uniformly making it tight. And you see there is also an edge pusher to ensure that the strapping is done properly with nothing coming out at the time of strapping. And this is the OD banding or OD strapping. And this robo is a very sincere robot. It could actually affix the label in different sizes, A4 or half the A4 size, and also at more than 40 locations. Thank you, friends, and thank you, Monica. Please take over.
Thank you so much, sir. And with this, we are opening the house for Q&A. And we have some polls also, which we want our audience to participate. We are starting with our first question. On your screen now. Do you think standardization is important for manufacturing and business? Please vote. Audience? Yes, no, maybe. Do you think standardization is important for manufacturing and business? I request all our audience to vote, and the audience who have joined through YouTube, you can post your answers in the comment box. Do you think standardization is important for manufacturing and business? So now we have the answer. 94% audience feel it is very important, and only 6% feel maybe. I request all our panelists to please unmute their mics. Please unmute your mic, all our panelists. And based on the answers, we will have your comments. So our audience feels, 94% of the audience feel that standardization in manufacturing is important. Any comment? Anybody like to make? Mr. Raj or Juha, Samu or Tuomas?
So this shows exactly that all the audience are with us. So that is what is the fundamental thing before talking about automation. For automation, the standardization is a prerequisite. That is a gateway. So it is obviously most of the people have opted for that, and it is a very good welcome sign that we are with the right audience today. Thank you, everybody.
So we are launching our next question on your screen now. Audience, please vote. Please be active. What do you think automation is good for? Option 1, to improve productivity. Second option, to improve quality. Third option, to save on resources. And fourth option, all of the above. Audience, please vote. What do you think automation is good for? So you have 4 options available in front of you: to improve productivity, to improve quality, to save on resources, or all of the above. Please vote. I'm quite happy to see enthusiasm of our audience. So many people are voting. All right. So this is the answer we have got. 95% feel all of the above, and 4% feel to improve productivity, and only 1% feel to improve quality. So basically our audience, 95% of the audience feel that automation is good for improved quality, productivity, and to save on resources. Audience, you have a third question on your screen. Do you think the real estate and building could be saved due to modern flow-out technology? You have three options. Yes, maybe, depends on the project. Do you think the real estate and buildings could be saved due to modern flow-how technology? Audience, please vote. Please be active. Wow, it's amazing to see the result. Do you think the real estate and buildings could be saved due to modern flow-how technology? Because we have seen many accidents happening in this particular sector in real estate and buildings. So the modern flow-how technology, do you think, audience, can be saved due to modern flow-how technology? Here are the answers. So 44% audience feel yes, 5% feels maybe, and 51% feels depends on the project. Well, this shows a little mixed view. I request our panelists to please respond and comment on the answers. So 51% feels it depends on the project, while 44% feel yes. Please unmute your mic, and I request our panelists to respond.
Yeah, I think if I could comment on that, and it is actually the correct statement because it depends exactly on the type of project, and especially whether it is a brownfield project or a greenfield project, and also depending upon the number of systems they may adopt and the requirement of these systems, how they require. So it depends upon the type of the project and especially with regard to the individual assessment on this. That's correct.
Anybody else like to comment? Mr. Juha, Mr. Samu, or Mr. Thomas? Anyone else like to comment on this? Or shall we go ahead?
Only one more point. Sorry, Monica. Actually, even assuming in different project situation, if the particular area was required without automation, with automation, there will definitely be a percentage of saving and also on the manpower. Though the quantum of saving may be different depending upon the different project, but invariably in all the types of projects, there will definitely certainly be a benefit of savings on especially real estate and buildings and cranes, and it is fact. But you can say that depending upon the project, the savings could be more or less. That is the correct statement. But we give that kind of a concession to the audience because the question was framed in such a way, so they had to choose that. But I'm sure what they meant was that.
So our audience is sending us questions. I want to take up questions one by one. Then in between, we will also be taking polling questions. We have one question from Mr. Prashant Kumar. He's asking, for pipe size 25 OD to 89 OD, how to packing the MS tube bundle? How to pack the MS tube bundle? Anybody can answer. For pipe size 25 OD to 89 OD.
Yeah,
this question is from Mr. Prashant.
Yeah, we did offer for one of the tube plants. I think I remember it is new core plant, and wherein see normally what happens, and also North American stainless steel, where see normally what happens, the tubes are brought out in the conveyor, and then they are sorted, and then they are brought down in a basket table and a basket conveyor, and from the basket conveyor, then you normally, depending upon the size of the tubes, you collect in a die. That die can be a hexagonal die. The tube people, the colleague who has asked this question knows it. Normally they have a die. It's an adaptable die, so they put a die depending upon circular die or a hexagonal die or an octagonal die, and then they strap it at that position, having got the die, 3 or 4 dies depending upon the length of this tube, and then they strap it and then they remove the die. Then the tubes are most unmanageable. Tubes and long products are very uncontrollable things. So they are controlled only with the die when they are of smaller size. Of course, that is not the case with the bigger tubes. The bigger tubes can be packed similarly how we pack the sheet packs. So we could particularly explain to them with the cases in case they have some requirement. We could always help them. And Monica could be the contact, and Monica, you could contact us back. Thank you.
Sure. So Mr. Prashant can send us their contact details so that we can take up your query to PESMEL. We have one question from Mr. Rakesh Kumar Saha. He is asking, generally for straightening of RBC at yard handled by consignment agent, packing is to be better. Can you give insight?
Could you just repeat it? Repeat the question.
Yeah, so his question is, generally for straightening of RBC at yard handled by consignment agent, packing is to be bettered. Can you give insight?
So we need to know the case clearly, and the fundamental principle of packing is to know for what purpose we are protecting it. So for every purpose, once the purpose is defined, the packing is normally configured based on the requirement in specific. It is not a standard item. So packing of different item, even for the same item, depending upon the customer end use, and as I told you, the matrices. So we have to frame it. So this also should be just like Mr. Prashant. This gentleman also should contact you with the case clearly, so we are able to give solution. But we have kind of a background and experience to configure the requirement once we know the case clearly.
So I suggest our audience that if we are discussing about packaging, please mention about the product, the type, and the case you like to mention, so that our panelists can understand it better and give you the answer. We have one question from Mr. Subrata Saha. He's asking, can you suggest stocking and stacking of corrugated roofing sheets and profiled sheet stocking and multi-layer stacking system with the system to bring out predetermined number of sheets of different thickness and load of trolleys?
See, we did offer one for, I think I remember Jindal Aluminum, I think. We did offer for the sheets as well as for stacking the sheets. And it is possible even to the extent to counting the sheets. Okay, so it is all that can be done automatically by means of drop counting. And we have some solution for especially in the cut-to-length line, where you could actually, after the cut-to-length line, it could be stacked. Similarly for the roll forming line for the roof sheet. After the roll forming line, the sheets can be automatically piled, counted automatically, and labeled, and also the robo can put the label with the correct number of quantities. These are all available. These are all like POM for us, and this can be definitely helped out, and if they come with a specific case. And we can also give a questionnaire to you, Monica, so that they could fill up the questionnaire, so it becomes easy for us to work on it.
Sure. Sorry. We have next question from Mr. Arun Tripathi. He's asking, can you do you have solution for plates packing thickness range 12 to 65 mm?
Yeah, I think I request Juha to answer this. He knows it, and he has worked on SSAB. And Juha, do you want to show a small video for this? Will you be able to show, or should I show?
Mr. Juha, you can unmute your mic. So audience, the question from Mr. Arun Tripathi is if there is a solution for plates packing thickness range 12 to 65 mm. Mr.
Yeah,
Juha.
Not only for packing, we could also store them in vertical storage, but let Mr. Juha explain. And Juha, if you have difficulty in getting the video, I could show the video.
Just 1 second. Mr. Juha, yes.
Yes, yes, thank you. I couldn't unmute myself for a while. So, okay, what was the question?
The question is, do you have solutions for plates packing thickness range 12 to 65 mm?
Yes, we have actually. I think in the first video what we present today before the webinar, there we have shown the technology for for seat and plate packing. So it's available from us. Yes.
Okay. We are taking a next question. This question is from Mr. Dinesh Sharma. He's asking, what is the best packaging for wire rod?
See,
Yeah.
you want to, yeah. Juha, go ahead.
Yeah, I can also answer on this question. So normally we have let's say against the coil we have, let's say, kind of a raffia fabric material, and on top of that we use the stretch film, so that this raffia fabric will give a mechanical protection, and then stretch film will give the moisture protection.
Okay. Anybody likes to add anything on this, or shall we move on to next question? Okay. So we have next question from Mr. Venugopal Jangam. He's asking how the semi-gantry canes are automated fully at charging side of furnace. How the semi-gantry canes are automated fully at charging side of furnace.
Yeah. Thomas, is it okay I answer, or you would like to answer?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
You take this
See,
one.
unlike the EOT cranes, the gantry cranes are little different. Okay, the gantry cranes have got little more deflection, and also it doesn't stop so suddenly as the EOT crane can stop. Okay, the system of gantry crane, because it is made of links and frames, and kinematic wise, gantry cranes are little unstable as compared to EOT cranes. So, but they are all within tolerable limits. But the tolerable limits for automation is in millimeter, but tolerable limits for deflection is in maybe in few millimeters. So that way, to take care of that, we have to have a compensation while automating the gantry cranes. Normally, we do automate the gantry cranes in a yard. I think we did it for we worked on it for one of the plants in Alabama and also in India. And that way, this is possible to automate the gantry crane similar to how we automate the EOT crane. Only thing is there has to be some compensation for this deflection and also the movement of the crane, because it doesn't stop exactly as it should stop. So we have to kind of provide a compensation in our automation and take it for, rather to say, calibrate it for that. And Thomas is good in that. Once he knows what is the problem in that particular movement, how much is the stoppage can be possible. I think
Thomas, you would like to add anything?
Yeah, I think Mr. Raj already explained this quite well. It's very similar to overhead crane, and with slight differences.
Right. So moving on to our next question, we have from Mr. Jagadev Bina. He's asking, do you have any automation for WMS for long product grade wise? He's from Vizag Steel Plant, RINL. So his question is, do you have any automation for WMS for long products grade wise?
Yeah. First, I think we should know whether they have a barcode. Okay. So if they have a barcode, then see, the tracking can be done 3 ways. Okay. One is if you have a barcode, you could track. If you have an RFID code, you could track. If you follow a sequence, we can track. As far as there is no manual interference between, we could even track that as if there is a code. So which is possible. So it's whether it's a long product or, again, long product, it has got length into account, but everything, it could be done. Accordingly, the equipment, handling equipment, everything has to be designed, and it can also be tracked with the barcode, and WMS is possible. And also we worked, I think, if I remember correctly, with Timken, who make the bearing material, and they are all in long products, and they wanted to save 42 acres of land to 1 acre, and within 1 acre a vertical storage. We worked in depth on the way we worked on long products in Timken. We never worked in life. So much types of products and so much of handling and so much of things. We did do work on it. It's only on the preliminary stage, but we had a very good experience on that, and they really appreciated it. And it is possible to have a vertical storage system and as well as WMS. And the vertical storage system obviously goes with WMS. They are contemporary. And also in India also, we are working presently. We are having a meeting after this meeting with one of the prominent manufacturers, especially with a central warehouse with multiple materials. That is long product, slit coils, sheets, as well as coils with a common warehouse. So we have a discussion after this in the meaning that it is possible. But only thing is we need to have some preliminary information so that we are able to design.
Right. So we have next question from Mr. V. Murali Krishna. He's from Tata Steel. He's asking, can you operate as design, build and operate? Can you operate as design, build and operate?
I will answer this, but I need Juha to kind of supplement my answer. And see, design, build and operate is possible, and we would very much like to do. And it is actually, it has only one implication here. Okay, so now designing is okay, building is okay, installation turnkey is okay. Now operation, mostly if the customer goes for more automation, then operation is by itself and minimum we have to do. But if the customer is wanting to build by us a very manual system and all that with more manpower and all that, well, then we have to engage manpower locally and operate. That will be cheaper for the customer to do it himself than our doing it. So that way, to answer him, well, if you are really impressed by automation and if you opt for automation, building, in fact, while you buy it, while you install it, it is being operated by itself. So there is no necessity to say that should we operate, except for 1 or 2 people to operate, and that we do. And we do operation contracts in paper mills. We do, even though we do AMC, in fact, in paper mill, Tamil Nadu paper mill, our AMC person is actually operating the whole process. And in fact, I told you that during the critical times, it is also possible to even evacuate. But the only thing is, it has to be properly having the IoT as well as Industry 4, so that it is able to be approached online. Juha, you may like to supplement.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Ratsan. Okay, we need to let's say discuss case by case. So there is no yes or no answer, I think.
We are moving on to our next question. We have from Mr. V. Shri Ramachandra Murthy. He's asking, we are having semi-automatic coil packing line in our plant. I want to know what is the capex that is involved to convert this into fully automatic, and what are the space requirement to be considered in percentage to get the brownfield project executed, and how long it will take to complete?
Juha, do you want to answer? I could answer.
No, let's say that normally the delivery times for this kind of project is 1 year. For example, of course, it depends what upgrading need to be done, and so on, and also the required space. It depends the packing codes and what packing is required. So I don't know. Maybe you, Rats, can
Yeah,
answer.
to supplement what Juha said, actually, normally a fully integrated packing line, automatic packing line, and Samu can correct me, normally requires about 70 meters length and roughly about 15 to 20 meters width. And if you go for automatic packing line, though semi-automatic packing line, the length may be same and maybe the width could be less because you don't have in situ preparation. And if you go for manual packing line, still the length is required, but depending upon the number of operations, it could be shorter. For example, if it is a simple packing line, 5 coils per hour, we could kind of camouflage 2 or 3 operations together and make the line. Even we have got lines of just 20 meters length, 30 meters length, and also 50 meters length, 70 meters length, 92 meters length. So it all depends upon the number of coils to be packed, and more the number of coils, more elaborate the line has to be. And if you want to improve your line from semi-automatic from 10 coils per hour to 20 coils per hour with automation and with also integrated automation in the sense in situ preparation of the material, it is always possible and it can be done. But it is always better to, sometimes you find it is more economical to buy a new line than doing this type of exercise, because your new packing line, if the line is already old, 20 years old or 15 years old, though many items are all not, you can't have IoT, you can't have many of the modern philosophy. And that way, as I told you, the initial cost is tuppence, means nothing in a packing line. Actually, the killer is actually the operating cost. So the packing line should be understood correctly, unlike the other lines. So nothing wrong, and even if you replace a packing line after 10 years to a new line, you will be only benefited. You are not going to be, it has got less value, the old line. So then actually that way, that's what we recommend. But even then we have open mind, because customer is God, and if he has the requirement, it is our duty to kind of attend to that, and then we can weigh the pros and cons of upgrading it or to replace it. Is it okay, Juha?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We are launching our next poll on your screen. So the question is, do you think quality would be better with automation and modern flow? How? Audience, please vote. Do you think quality would be better with automation and modern flow? How? So your options are yes, maybe, depends on the project. Do you think quality would be better with automation and modern flow? How? So here are the results. We have 85% audience feel yes, the quality increase. 2% say maybe, 13% depends on the project. That's great. We are moving on to our next poll question. On your screen. Audience, please vote. Do you think safety for people and material flow and material would be better with automation and modern flow? How? Yes, maybe, depends on the. Do you think, audience, safety for people and material would be better with automation and modern flow? How? Please vote. Here are the results. 94% of our audience feels yes. 6% feel depends on the project, and 0% think nothing, maybe. So the majority feels that the safety for people and material would be better with automation and modern flow hub. Now we are taking up next question. This question is from Mr. Sunil Kumar. He is asking, is it feasible to make EOT crane? Anybody can answer.
No. Monica, I think the question is not clear. Is it feasible to make or is it feasible to automate EOT crane? What is the question?
Well, he has written to me, is it feasible to make EOT crane?
No, EOT crane, they are professional suppliers are there. So they will make it. They will supply. We also collaborate, but it is not our, EOT crane is not our main product. And there must be possible for, there is possible, and our sister company Kone is actually doing that. And I think, I don't know, the question is not apt for this topic. So maybe something else he has in mind. What he's asking is actually, is it possible to automate?
He has again sent me the revised question. So he's asking, is it feasible to automate EOT cranes in running plate with all the operational constraint, and what will be the challenge in implementing the same?
Exactly. This can be explained by Samu as or Thomas, whoever want to do that, because Samu
He like to ask from Mr. Thomas. He is asking from Mr. Thomas.
Thomas, please.
Mr. Thomas, please unmute your mic.
Yeah. So it can be, of course, it can be done. It can be automated. It just requires some automation, like components and programming. PLC, of course, needs to be there. And probably the challenges are the if there needs to be, let's say, some truck loading or wagon loading, something where the positions cannot be standardized. If the crane is in the operating in a warehouse with a floor storage with a static places, and let's say that there is coil cars supplementing the floor storage, and those places all can be fixed, so the position can be known at all times, and all the locations are known. So I would say that the challenges come when the locations cannot be fixed. Trucks sizes can vary. They will not stop according exactly to same places, and same with the wagons also. And if the area needs to have people also, then that is also one challenge, that it needs some good planning, that we can restrict the automation so that it will not go to the forbidden areas where there is humans also working and walking. Does anyone, Samu or Raj, do you want to supplement? Or
yeah, the automation also depends upon the operation requirement. So depending upon what operation you want to do, whether you want to do only in a floor, in a fixed, there is no question of different reference. The reference is most important in automating a crane. So if there is a moving reference or a different reference, it is difficult to automate the EOT crane. There are stages for that with a laser, and we have even offered, if Samu can remember, we even offered a shipping system with manless crane with a laser operated level identification system. So it's all possible, but it has its own complication depending upon the type of operation required. Normally, many people automate where there is a fixed reference and where there is only floor storage, and there is it is possible to yard map and then clearly manage with total automation. Wherever the references are changing, then accordingly it becomes more complicated. And then also, if there are 4 cranes in a bay, in one crane is in a different automation, the other crane is in a different level, and the other one is a different level, then there has to be a zonal, what do you call as no-fly zone. You have to make it no-fly zone in such a way that the cranes don't have because one doesn't have an operator, other has an operator. So these are all will create misunderstanding. Of course, everything is known to Thomas, and I'm only a little supplementing on it. And this is just for especially on a ground level. I'm just telling. This is what is the practical aspect of it. The technology aspect of it, of course, Thomas knows better. Thank you, Thomas.
We have a next question from Mr. Nitin Chaudhary. He's from JSPL. He's asking, we have a cut to length line having capacity to cut 35,000 MT per month. What could be CAPEX and OPEX for same for warehouse management?
Juha, you want
His
to answer?
question, yeah, anyone can answer.
No, yes. So I think we should have some more details before giving the correct answer. So I think it would be good if you could send us a questionnaire, so then we could give a better answer for this question.
Yeah, a little more is that, see, there are many aspects on automation. So now we could definitely configure automatic receiving of the material from the stacker, drop stacker or magnetic stacker. We could take it out automatically and take it to the packing line, and then taking it to the storage is possible. And as Mr. Juha said, we'll send a questionnaire to you, if you could send your contact. And Monica, if you could let Mr. Juha and myself know the contact, as well as to Samu, we could send a questionnaire. If he fills it up, then we could exactly cater to his precise need. But 35,000 tons is comparatively, because normally the storage systems are done for normally for 7 or 10 days stock. So maybe automatic packing and maybe automatic transportation may be more useful. With regard to storage, we have to discuss only after the questionnaire is filled up.
So Nitinji, do share your email ID with us so that the team can contact you. We are taking up a next question. We have from Mr. Rahul Shrivastava. He's asking, I am from Tata Steel BSL Limited, Khopoli. Please suggest if any automation available for tube packing of size 10 mm to 101.6 mm, outer diameter, thickness 1 mm to 6 mm, tube length 3 meters to 10 meters.
I think the first question also was similar.
Yeah. So panelists, if you need to know the dimension, I'm sending you on your chat screen exactly. So he's asking any automation available for tube packing of size 10 mm to 101.6 mm, outer diameter, thickness 1 mm to 6 mm, tube length 3 meters to 10 meters.
Yes, I can answer same way as the previous question, which was more or less similar. So we have systems for to pack such a product. So yes, please send us some more information so we can check what can be done.
Sure. Mr. Raj, you were saying, adding anything to this?
No, what I meant to say was like what I explained before. Depending upon that packing system is different for different types of sizes of pipes or tubes, and that way, as Juha said correctly, once we have the questionnaire filled up, we could give an because normally this type of answers, there is one is general answer, whether we can do or not. Yes, we can, and what configuration it will have, all that is the next step for which we need to know a little more information. But you can convey to this. Yeah, I think you understand what I said.
Absolutely. So Mr. Rahul Shrivastava, please do send us an email. You have our email ID with you. We are taking up next question from V. Sri Ramachandra Murthy. He is asking, more specific to traditional EOT operations POV, how can we upgrade from Industry 4.0 so that coil handling damages can be avoided, and any guiding tools for centering of the coil in the saddle while positioning in yards.
Thomas.
Can you take this one?
Yeah, see, what he's asking is, how do you center the coil in the skid? So you have a reference, laser eye or optical eye, and possibly this can be done. See, there are special tongs available now. See, you may be surprised. The tongs are almost like 1 crore, and these tongs are having so many sensors, and they could exactly know many things, including whether they've gone inside totally. They don't see, actually olden type of tongs have got, there is no question of soft lifting the coil. They go hug the coil with a great pressure. But nowadays the tongs are designed in such a way that they are able to handle gently. So to say, this particular question is more to do with the tong than with the crane, because it has got to do more with the tong technology, and that is, it is available. The prominent tong manufacturers are actually designing the tongs accordingly. So if there is anything extra required, they could send you information. And also his question, one more thing is, he's actually worried that sometimes what happens, the coils are kept on offset on the saddle. Okay, now with automation, we have a radar system. The positions are actually, the axis, everything is monitored, and with that axis we actually ensure that the crane goes to the, depending upon the automation level. If it is to the operator, like a basic only YMS guided crane, then the operator has to have the skill to keep it in the center, because his eye serves the purpose. But there was one particular case where the operator was not able to see the skid because it was under the cabin. So we suggested to them to put a mirror on proper place, strategic place, and the operator was able to see. Okay, but only thing is, in the mirror and cameras there is a refraction, so it will be, the hand will be opposite. So that the operator should have that reflex to understand. But otherwise it is also possible for that, and it is more operator skill to do that if it is going to be basic. But if it is going to be the second level of automation, there the crane itself will go to the center of the skid, then the operator has to lower it. And if it is the third level of automation, then no worry, it is a crane job, and crane sincerely will keep it in the center of the skid only, even if you want it otherwise. Am I correct, Thomas?
Yes.
So we are taking a last question. Then we will have 1 or 2 poll question, and then I would request Mr. Raj to provide a concluding remark, since the time is we are only 6 minutes to go. This question is from Mr. Dinesh Mishra. He's from Tata Steel, BSL. His question is, spare item supply is very late by PESMEL. So maybe PESMEL can check on that. So this is, I think, his query, that he's been facing late supplies of spare items.
Juha?
Sorry, I didn't fully understand the question.
No, she said the spare supply, the lead time takes more time. So that's what he wants. Actually, he's suggesting that we should improve on that, and we totally respect that comment, and we'll definitely improve on that.
Yes, okay. Of course, I will discuss with our service department if there has been such a delays. I will discuss with them so that we can improve our deliveries. Yes.
That's great. And Mr. Dinesh, I'm pretty sure that PESMEL team will contact you on this. With this, we are moving on to our next poll question. Audience, on your screen, please vote. So our next question is, do you think automatic high-speed coil cars are better than conventional manual transfer cars? Audience, please vote. So you have 3 options. Yes, maybe, depends on the project. And please be fast, audience. Please be fast in voting. Do you think automatic high-speed coils cars are better than conventional manual transfer cars? So options are yes, maybe, depends on the project. Here are the results. So 87% people feel that yes, automatic high-speed coil cars are better than conventional manual transfer cars. 2% feels maybe, 11% feels depends on the project. I believe yes, 11% is also probably considering the size or the kind of project is there.
Also on the number of throughput. So
Yes, we are moving on to our last poll. Audience on your screen, do you think automatic manless cranes would be useful for material handling and shipping for better throughput? So your options are yes, maybe, again, depending on the projects. Do you think automatic manless cranes would be useful for material handling and shipping for better throughput? Okay, here are the results. So 68% people feel yes, and 32% feel depends on the project. Again, the majority feels yes, but 32% do feel that it depends on the project. With this, I would like to request Mr. Rajagopalan Jagannathan to please provide the concluding remark.
thank you, Monica. And first and foremost, we should thank all of you, very knowledgeable delegates, for sparing your valuable time to listen to this webinar, which could be of use to you in a long range in daily job routine. But having said that, you are all experienced people, so please consider this webinar is only as a friendly and affectionate or a gentle reminder of what you know. It is not that we have taken something new to you. You all know that, but because of your fast routine, maybe, and also certain policies, you might have skipped certain things. So we just only made it a point to remind you, and we always respect your experience, because the way I think there is more than 400 and plus 400 attendees here, and if you put your experience together, maybe it can go to almost a million years of experience. So now that way, we definitely thank you for sparing your time, precious time. Everybody must be busy in the site, and having given time for us, we should first and foremost thank you. The second most important thing, we have to thank Monica and also Metalogic PMS and their colleagues who worked really day and night to make this webinar, because though we see as a webinar of 2 hours, it requires at least about 200 hours of work and hard work. And that way, I definitely thank them. And Monica, thanks a lot, and please convey to your colleagues. And though I should not prize on our own team, I have to definitely mention about PESMEL India team, who have invariably conveyed this message to each and everyone, because they are our frontline people we have invariably AMC in every plant, and they meet with everybody, and they have the credibility to talk to somebody, and they respect that, and they definitely have ensured that maximum attendances today with curiosity and interest, and mainly because for creating that respect, I thank my PESMEL India colleagues and for their tireless work in communicating this information about this webinar. There is one more important point I have to say, that voting, when Monica was telling, there has been a very good, excellent voting, and I am in a place where we are in amidst of the voting free, and the same way the voting is good, and also the voting has to be sensible, and I think the voting has been very sensible, and it shows that the whole audience, they are with us, and in the sense, not with us, with the actually current technology, rather than to say, because our main purpose of this conference is mainly information sharing. because information sharing is a fundamental thing for technical people to do that. And as Gita says, Bhagavad Gita says, without expecting a return, you share your information and return will come directly or indirectly, or the society will be benefited. That's what, let us hope that we did an iota of service on that. And for that, I have to thank my company, my own co-presenters who have done an excellent job, and also especially with regard to the management of PESMEL for giving this opportunity to do this. And I also should thank all your attendees management for permitting you and also circulating to you to attend this conference. And I need to close it with one slogan, as I written in the last slide of my presentation. The technology is like a relay race. So we should never run a relay which has been run already. Always you catch up and then take the torch and go forward. That way, friends, there are some cases you have to go for some conventional system, but please adopt to the modern technology, which will definitely may appear frightening or costly initially. But as I told you, automation is the best friend of yours. It will only help you. It will save you a lot of money directly and indirectly. And don't hesitate, irrespective of where you go, what you buy, please consider this small piece of information, that never run a relay on technology which others have run. I think I should thank everybody, and thank you, Monica.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful words. With this, I would like to thank our expert panelists and for taking out time for us, and to our lovely audience who never fails to make any session interesting by putting up great questions. And audience, I personally like to thank you that for staying with us during this pandemic. Metalogic has completed 20 webinar series in last 7 months. It's a great achievement for us, and we have seen that there had been participants who have been retained, and they have attended almost all our webinars continuously. We were doing 3 webinars each month. It's like a marathon we ran from last 7 to 8 months. I really like to thank you, audience, and thank to all our sponsors who have supported us in last 7 and 8 months. Thank you so much to PESMEL as well for trusting us. We always try to bring out with something new, something exciting, and something extremely knowledgeable to our audience. And PESMEL has helped us again with this concept. Audience, if you remember, last year we did one very specialized program on modern logistics. That was the idea seeded by the PESMEL from last year. So if you have attended our conference, you would understand that. So it's a wonderful initiative by PESMEL. We congratulate PESMEL for this. And with this, I like to thank all our panelists, Mr. Juha, Suksi, Vice President, PESMEL Corporation, Mr. Samu, Katkanaho, Sales Manager, PESMEL Corporation, Mr. Tuomas, Manager ICT Engineering, PESMEL Corporation, Mr. Rajagopalan, Managing Director of PESMEL India, and to my team. Thank you, Metalogic team, Neelam Sharma, Priyanka Bhartari, Yasmin, Amarjeet Anand. Thank you so much, guys, and thanks to our audience. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just last